Hi everybody. Coffee delivery. I've got to say, the last video I did, and do you know how many times I've had a go at this? The last video I did, I'm just bowled over with how many subscribers I've got. The views blew my mind, but it's the subscribers and the comments. And women, at last, we've got some women watching. I have to say as well, I've got 4 daughters, and a couple of them have worked with me, which has been great and helped me out with things. And just the female students that have been in this workshop, can I say this, have done better than the men. Sorry guys, but the girls get it. Georgina, you know, Beth, yeah, you guys are seriously, you're brilliant. And this is, I am a feminist. I think women should do their thing and get out there and go and do it. And anyhow, in this video, I'm going to do some sharpening. So that's the first bit out of the way. I'm going to do some sharpening, and this sharpening is aimed at just an introduction to sharpening, but also there's a little bit of a thing there, and it saves you buying gadgets and things. It's done on the cheap, an introduction. Have a go, see what you think, and it's probably worth trying this way. I do it this way sometimes still, but I show how I do it. We make a little tiny thing, and it's simple. Anybody can do it. If you've got a saw and some way of holding a piece of wood, you can do it. So let's jump in. As I say, thank you for subscribing. Thank you all, and I'm bowled over. And the beard, yeah, the beard's here, and I've got a sharpening. Let's do it. Right, hold on to your hats. So, Veritas sharpening system thing. Gary, this is yours, you know that. Discard nut, I don't know. Anyhow, Veritas thing. Japanese Waterstones. I've had these since I was about 18, 19. Well, that one and that one. We're not going to use those. 10,000 grit Japanese Naniwa. King Sun Tiger 6,000 grit. This is a cheap one. These are worth getting. Cheap little thing. They're really worth getting, value for money. That's an old King 1200. Oilstone, nice oilstone. Was given to me by somebody. This one I bought new. This is an Arkansas oilstone. These things, right? Get yourself one of these. You pay about £20-25 for some sort of diamond. These Faithful ones aren't bad. They're very good actually. I've found they're more consistent, flat, and don't have any problems with them. They've got something right. I don't know who Faithful use, but they've used the right manufacturers. I've had these 5 years, 6, 7 years, 8 years, possibly 8 years. One of these. I don't know which one's the oldest. Lids for, and yeah, we've got oilstone things and slipstones, I should say. Slipstones, water slipstone. But this is another thing that I want to show you in a bit. This is what's going to get us to perfect, and I'll show you that later. But we're going to start with something that you don't normally start with. Let me just show you the chisels, but I want you to see these just before that. These are just 2 blocks of wood set up at 25 degrees and 30 degrees. That's all we need to do. So I'll even cut one of those. We'll sort that out, and I'll show you the chisels now. These are the chisels we're going to be sorting out, and this one's for you really, Gill, and everybody else that wants to watch. So Gill, I do a podcast with called Heads and Dovetails, and she's got some new chisels, and they're probably in similar state to these. So I'm going to sharpen these up and see how we get on. So let's make a couple of those to start with. You've probably got a protractor lying around somewhere. So what we're going to do is just put that on there, right on the bottom corner, and measure off 25 degrees. There you go. Put that like that. Put that there like that. 25 degrees. Right, grab a saw. Any old saw will do. This hasn't been sharpened or looked after in a long while, but let's see if it cuts. basically see the line there, let's keep that line. Mix up. Right, there you go, there's our 25-degree block. It's a little bit longer than my normal one, but it's 25 degrees. Right, flat bottom, it hasn't got a flat bottom, so would have been better if I'd have started with a piece of wood with a flat bottom. So there's a tip, let's plane that. Right, if you've got a plane, great. If you haven't, then look for a square piece of wood. I'm now going to check this square. Hang on. It's not quite square. So I'm going to run a plane over this. You can see it's not quite square. By the end, it tapers slightly. So, see the gap? Let's plane it square. So again, if you've got a plane, this will be a lot easier. If you know somebody that can do this for you, get somebody to do it for you. Let's have a look at that. That is square. Great. It's a bit long for my liking. I think I'm just going to chop a bit off. Right, have a slurp of tea. Right, if you're still with me, if you've done that, that's probably the hardest thing you've got to do, because everything from here on in gets easier. This is something I use for my water stones. We don't need that. All we're going to use is this 400 grit diamond stone. Can you see all right? Yeah. Right, where are we? So, I'd already got these made. Not using those, I'm starting from scratch like you might have to. Now look, these things can be used either flat on that surface or flat on that surface. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to take, which one shall I do? Let's do the rusty one. I'm going to do the rusty one first so that you can see the difference. So, bit of water. That's got some hone right stuff in. Don't worry about that. Just normal water or some sort of glass cleaner. You could spray a little glass cleaner on there. People spray on. I'm not bothered about spraying. I prefer to just pour it out the lid. Right. Flat. For a chisel to be used properly in jointing and all sorts, we want that back flat. So that's the first operation. So come down here, move it around. Fingers mainly on, the weight is on there. There's not too much weight on there. This is just steadying and steering, okay? But put your weight on that front, those front fingers there. That's the important part. I could speed this up, but then you won't really get an idea of how long this takes. So I'm not going to speed this up. Here we go. And you can move it around all sorts of ways. Be careful with this and lumps on the back of your chisel, because if that lifts up, you'll put a shape on the end of there. Right, I've been lucky with this one. So this already is as flat as it needs to be. It could be flatter, but what I'm after is I'm after that front edge across there. I want that bit to be, there you go, to be free from rust and ready to sharpen. I'm going to do it a little bit more, and I can go slightly off the stone. Knowing this is slightly hollowed now, I can treat it a little bit different, but basically Let's have a look, see if that's any better. It should be better. Right, that's the first thing we do. So look, that's flat back. Next thing is these two come in contact with each other on the stone. Now, this side won't absorb much water because it's all straight fibres. This side, because it's cut at an angle, will absorb water and muck. So I'm going to suggest for now we use it this side on the stone, this side for the chisel. Now let me change the angle you're at. Right, how's that? That's pretty good. You should be able to see. Right, so that goes like that. I'm going to tip that up so you can see it. This is going to go on here like this, and we're going to push it backwards and forwards. But there's an element I'm going to show you that makes it a little bit. So rather than having a jig that you might have to spend money on and somewhat complicated like the one over there, that Vertas sharpening honing guide is it's a little bit complicated. This can be just done with a block of wood. Now, what I'm going to suggest is you put that like that, hold it in place, hold the handle. I want you to see my hand back here. There you go. Hold this there, put it not straight, put it slightly at an angle. This, you'll thank me for it later. Slightly at an angle. And then hold that angle and leave the block there. Come back, check it's right, adjust this hand up and down if you need to, have another go. When you're confident that you can do that, and you check the block every time and it's working and you're happy with it, you can stay with it. And if you want to push that off the back of the stone, I wouldn't blame you. So it's locking the elbows, it's locking the arms. Come back. Yep, still fits, still right. This takes quite a bit of practice, but it's worth doing. So I can feel, yep, still at that angle. I can feel that it's grinding away and doing a pretty good job. And that's what we've got. We've got this middle bevel here. So I'm going to be here a long while before it gets right up to that front. So I've got a lot to do, so I'll come back in a bit. Right, so if your chisels are a bit old, periodically what you want to do is you want to check how square they are and how well you're doing. So I'm doing okay. It's a little bit out of square this way. I need to take more off this side. So if I hold that there, put my fingers down on that front corner to help get that right. So I'll just check that's right, take it out and put more weight, almost twist it, very slightly twist it so that that front gets more, that corner gets more attention. Now I can put quite a lot of weight on this chisel, holding that angle. If these haven't been sharpened in a long time, then it's worth spending a bit of time on them, but it's also, if you've never sharpened before, it's going to take a while to... Right, how are we doing? We've got all sorts of things going on. We've got a wire edge. I'm doing it quite quick, and I shouldn't really be, but there's a bit of a radius on there. It's not much, but there is a bit. Let me just see how I'm doing. Actually, it is only a little bit of a radius. It's really not much at all. Anyhow, back to it. Now my stone is getting full of muck, so I'm just going to wash my stone out. You might have to do this periodically. Give that a wash. Right, let's see how we're doing. So let's put that back on there. I've washed the stone just under some cold water. Hold the angle. The more practice you get, the better you get. When you've done enough and you think you're getting somewhere. There's still a little patch in there that's not done, but I've got a wire edge there. Whether you can see that wire edge, see it, there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of steel right here on this edge, and I can more than feel it. That's going to fall off now. So put it on your stone and just pull it towards you. If I show you that now, you'll be able to see that wire edge. See it? There's the wire edge. That's got to come off. So I can go back to this way, and then again, and I can just rub the back up a bit more. The back of this chisel it's always going to need a bit more effort to get it looking good. Right, back to 25 degrees on there. Now I'm slowing down now. I've done a lot because I've got rid of a lot of metal off there, off the front of there. I'm just going to rub the back up again. And let's have a look. That's better. That's better. Can you see that? That's better. So now what I'm going to do is just get another one of these blocks. This is my 30-degree one, so you know how to make the block. Get a 30-degree one, and I'm going to use that on, what shall I use it on? Well, let's use it, in this case, let's use it on an old oil stone. It can be an old oil stone, it can be a water stone. And you can use WD-40. You can use a little bit of sewing machine oil. Whatever your favourite is, I don't mind, I'm easy. Mix of the two's quite nice. Right, so now we're just going to polish the back up again. As I say, you could have done this on any sort of different stone. But I'm just going to do it on this stone. This is an old stone given to me a while ago. It's equivalent to around 4,000 grit. If you're interested, set it up at 30 degrees, double check it, make sure it's right. Yes, I'm happy with that. Again, backwards and forwards. The edge of this is really quite rough because of that wire edge. Let's clean it up there. So, people years ago used to be told to do figure of eights. If you really want to do that, you do figure of eights, that's fine. Some people, like the Japanese, do patches and then move down the stone and do another patch, and then move down the stone and do another patch. If you've been doing it a long while, you might be able to just hold the angle and go through. And actually, I've done that a lot more than I needed to do. In some cases, you only need to do it a few times. So that's going to now put an edge. In fact, this shows it's a pretty good chisel. This is an old plastic handled, something like a Stanley. But actually it's so old that the steel is so good it doesn't want to let go of the wire edge. So that's a little bit, frustrating. But actually, if it doesn't let go of the wire edge, that's not a bad thing. It usually means that it's going to hold a good edge. There you go, it's gone now. Right, let's try that now. Right, so how sharp is this? So let's have a go. Oh, well, there you go. So that's not bad. Just turn it over. I say it's not bad. Right, so that's pretty good. Now I want to show you what will make that better. And what it is a bit of old wood with a little bit of leather on and some polishing compound. Now that polishing compound, let me just show you. That polishing compound in this case is this, which is used on stainless steel polish, for polishing stainless steel, used with a polishing one. But it could be scratch remover, it could be silver polish, it could be chrome cleaner or polish. It all has the same sort of thing in there. It's a liquid or solid that's going to go into the leather to hold on to it, so that as it's polishing, the polish is basically an abrasive, not to make it shiny, to finish it better. Oh, I'm not explaining this very well. We're not here to polish it. We are sort of polishing it. Anyhow, this, you want to maintain the 30 degrees. So if you put that there, get used to the angle. That's the angle. And do that a number of times. How many times, Jamie? 30? 50? I don't think there's any point in going over 50. Let's have a look, see what it's doing. See, we're getting a more polished finish now. A more polished surface. And when you do that, once you've done that a number of times, let me just do it a bit quicker just to get it done. We are getting there now, look at that. Right, when you've done that a number of times, just pull it back off keep it flat and just pull it away from the edge. You could go up and down, but I don't know, there's no point. Just do that. Right, that should be better now. So let's just try it. Let's just try that. Believe me? And does it? Yeah, it takes the hairs off your armour too. So. Right, so that was a quick one. As you can see, I haven't used all of those. I've only used oil stone, the diamond stone. I've only used the oil stone, the diamond stone, bit of water, whatever the polishing compound you've got, and the results are fantastic. So there you go, not the slickest of videos, but we have got a very sharp chisel, even though it looks a bit scruffy. Look, it looks a bit scruffy. Even though it looks scruffy, look there you go, look at the light shining on the back of there. That is going to be a very good chisel. That's going to give you great results when you're using it, so be careful with it because it's sharp. And if you're new to my channel, thank you for watching. Subscribers, you guys are amazing, thank you. And another video coming along soon where I'm going to do another sort of coffee briquette. I think I've got an idea. Might be called a coffee log. Right, thanks for watching. Cheers. there. Thanks for watching.